of the most important ingredients in making hot tamales is the masa. And so I've just put in 4 cups of masa into this bowl. I'm going to finish it off with 4.5. So I need 4.5 cups of masa. And then what I want to do is add my seasoning, because masa by itself doesn't taste so good. So what we're going to do is we're going to add salt, and we're going to add garlic powder, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add those in there. And it's 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then we have the lard. Now remember, we use lard with the meat mixture, and we're going to use it here too. Before we put that lard in there though, let's stir this up just a little bit. And some of you may not have a clue what lard is. And honestly, I had to look it up myself. And maybe you can provide me some information about lard in the comment section of this particular video. And you'll find out a few things about lard. Now, lard allows the mixture to kind of, it's almost like making biscuits or something like that, where you actually add what I would call shortening. And I'm just going to kind of mix that up like that. And so we've got our 4.5 cups of meal. We have our tablespoon of salt, 1/2 cup of lard, teaspoon of garlic powder, and then I'm supposed to taste as I go, but I'm not quite ready to taste this yet. And in fact, what I'm going to do, I've washed my hands thoroughly, and I'm just going to get my hands and kind of move that lard through the masa, because that will make it more integrated, and that's important for that to happen that way. And then what we're getting ready to do is we're getting ready to add some hot broth and water. Now, I have the broth left over, and you can see right here, I have some of the broth left over from cooking the Boston butt, and I want to use that lard over there in the actual steaming of my hot tamales. But I do also want to add broth to my masa. So we'll just kind of do this here. See if I can get all that off of there. And then over here on the stove, and I'm thinking to myself here about that amazing cook that used to be on TV when I was growing up. What was her name? Camera operator, can you remember? Julia Childs. Yes. Forgot what her name was. So I've got my cup here. I'm wanting to do about 5 cups of broth. But I'm going to kind of pay attention to what's going on here, because I needed a certain consistency. And so this is actually not just a cup, it's a 2-cup thing. So I'm going to bring my pot over here. And I've been heating this up. And I do want to measure this. If you weren't watching right now, I would probably just pour it straight into the dish. But I know it's important, because a lot of times what happens with cooks is they'll tell somebody, oh, you can do this, and everything's going to be fine, and you just do this, this, and this. And you know what happens with a good cook? Good cook never tells you all the secrets. So today, look at that. Look how that's taking up all that moisture there. We poured 2 cups in. Oh my. I can smell how good it smells right now. It's really starting to smell like I want it to. I've got my second 2 cups. So now we're going in with 4 cups. And I put about half of that, maybe a third of it was actual broth. Now what if I get too much liquid in here? I could be in trouble. But I need to have my mesa so that it's spreadable. Because if it's not spreadable, I can't actually start making my hot tamales, because I have to spread my hot tamale in the mesa onto the corn shuck. Look at that. So all of a sudden, those 4 cups, look at that, there's still dry ingredients in there that I haven't gotten stirred up yet. I need to get that stirred up. So we've gotten 4 cups in there, and sure enough, the recipe is correct. We need at least 5 cups, because this is way too thick for us to manage when we start building the actual hot tamale. I'm gonna go back over here. Now, I made some extra broth. I'm gonna this time I'm only gonna put a cup in, just to make sure that it's working the way it's supposed to. And if ultimately I wind up with just a little bit too much liquid, I can always pour a little bit more mesa into the dish here. So we got to get it all stirred up, and when we finish getting it all stirred up, we'll actually start applying this onto our corn husk or shucks, and we'll be back to Pecan Corner to find out how to actually build the tamale.